So Chirag, normally how does a customer approach you and how do you start an assignment? What are the first steps?
I would say they generally come with very brief requirements, usually in few words or maybe a 5-10 line sort of a description of what they are looking for. And with that, when we start interacting with them, we try to get to know why they are asking for something like this. What is the process that they are trying to have been following maybe so far? What tools have they been using? Maybe spreadsheet, emails, chat messages, something like that. And with that, they're trying to maybe transform that process into something more digital, structured. And in that whole discussion, that's where we need to put our minds, effort collectively with the customers. A lot of co-creation in that process, where we are structuring what they require. And that 5-10 line brief almost becomes like a 20-30 page or a 20-30 slide deck, presentation to put together what they have said into what they really require. And I have noticed often that this process should take a lot of time. Ideally, people who just want to get started, they want to put together an application or a software, they want to see something in action, they want something to click, run, something like that. But if we miss this step of discussions, understanding the requirements and all of that, and just run towards developing a software, I've often seen that doesn't really help them or us or anybody in the whole thing. So these first few steps should take time, ideally.
So these should take time, but how much time do you think is necessary to give to these assignments, these kind of projects? What would your suggestion or assumption would be?
So before we get into the actual piece of development, the first piece, as I like to call it, consulting, is the time where we are interacting with them, understanding requirements, defining that, documenting all of that into a business requirements document. I think this generally should take about 4 to 6 weeks of time. In some cases, even larger if there are a lot of interlinked processes that they are trying to bring forth. But smaller processes should take 4 weeks time. Some larger processes may take about 8 weeks time, something like that.
Okay. So Chirag, now if I were to say, let's say we've done this exercise, and now why would a project fail? Okay. If we have done this exercise or if we have not done this exercise, what would be the reasons of the failure of a project?
Given that most customers are trying to digitize their processes for the first time, and we are talking about mid-market to MSMEs, they often start with few requirements. But as they see the development happening, they start to realize some more aspects that they want. And they start to define those requirements as we develop the product. So at these steps, if that engagement is more about, sir, you didn't say this earlier, now we are going to do this, this leads to a lot of discontent in the customer's mind. And most often than not, people lose interest. This is why a project would fail. What works here really well is that knowing fully well that the customer is not a IT company in many cases, right?
Yes.
So they're doing their business the way they do, and we are bringing that IT expertise. So hence it's important that we sympathize, empathize with them, let them say what they require really, because whatever they require is the true need of the customer. And at that step, it's important to accommodate some of those requirements or to reason out with them that this, what you're asking for, could change a lot of things in the system. Could we park this as phase 2 of the project?
Correct.
And take some of those things which can be immediately addressed. So with that kind of co-creating model, I think customers do understand that some of these requirements were different than what they had earlier originally described. On another note, if the first step, like I had described, let's say that the consulting piece never happened. They came, we just brought a product and we started just configuring that product, either a Zoho product or a custom app, and just started development. If that is happening, then for sure there are a lot of failures because the client hasn't detailed out their requirements. You never ask them questions. So they've just said what they want, and we've just gone ahead and put together something. So then, of course, there are going to be a lot of failures.
So having taken cue from that, I in my own personal experience also, I've seen that, projects keep on going, they keep on running and there is never an end to that. What is your take on, such kind of things?
Yeah. I think why customers come to digitize their processes, or why do they want to really go digital way, is because they want to improvise on what they want to do, or what they have been doing. So when an IT project starts, something like this, they see some improvements and they want more.
Okay.
And when a customer wants more from the existing software that they have developed, I think that's when projects keep going on. But it's important to understand or realize that we developed something that was phase 1 of development. They've asked for more, that's phase 2. Maybe they've asked for something which doesn't exist in the current landscape of things, or there is no ready app that we can immediately serve them. So we could say that, okay, let this be phase 3, where your people have actually adopted phase 1, they've made use of it, you've benefited from it in a big way, and then let's take up the other phases. So if this is broken down into phases, it doesn't look like as if the project is running endlessly.
Correct.
But if it's not, then yeah, it does seem sometimes that no, this is just not ending. We've been into this for 9 months or 12 months,
Yes.
and this is just not ending. But I think at some point, the customer does realize that they went on describing unlimited things, and they do come around. I feel. I don't think that they are wrong on what they're asking for. I have never felt that, because what they're asking for is the real need.
Correct.
And why should they not ask for that?
So Chirag, for the sake of the audience, would you lay out the few necessary steps for a successful assignment of this nature?
So I'd say step number 1 would be consulting, which is documenting the exact requirements of the customer, ensuring that all of those workflows are developed, designed, agreed upon before the project really starts.
Okay.
Second step would be to then go into the development stage. The part of that would be planning the milestones, the tasks that are planned in the entire scheme of project, ensuring that there is alignment. The development team, the business analyst all get together and do the activity, which includes configuring the product if there's a ready product that we are trying to use, or developing a new product. Post that stage would come in where you migrate the data of the customer's existing tools that they're using onto this newly developed tool. Once the data is migrated, you check for all of that, test it with the customer, make sure that things are running as they expect, and that's when we can go live with the project. Once the go live is about to go, you need to train your existing teams. So customer would bring in the relevant team members. We need to train them. Training is of different sorts. So one is a very user level training, what the customer users are going to do. The other is an operational level training, the admin level training. So the other people, the team heads or department heads who need to manage the data of their own users. So those trainings are put together. And when all of this is done, the project is live now, people are using the system, that's where support kicks in. I've often noticed that people feel that yahan tak ho gaya, this is all required, you don't really need anything further. But support plays a very important role, and I'll explain why. So it's not just supporting the users when they're using the system or training and guiding them. It's not just about that. It's about identifying challenges that the user faces in the already designed system. It's also identifying new use cases or new scenarios which should now be incorporated in the product to make it actually or really more efficient than what was earlier envisaged. Most cases we've seen that once the project is live, they immediately see benefit. There's immediate 30 to 60% benefit that they see in their processes and the time that it takes. But when you fine tune it to what the user really requires, that's when real big benefits come out of the picture. And then when you start to analyze the data that is getting generated and start preparing deeper dashboards, reports, that's where the real value for the management and the company as a whole really kicks in, and that's where support really helps the customer. So I would say these 6 or 7 steps is what makes a successful project.
Thanks, Chirag. Thanks for your time. It was a great conversation.
Thanks, Ron.